tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's going on, AfterBuzzers? I'm Olivia Gabaree, and welcome to Host Highlights. Tonight, I'm joined by the lovely Alikona, AfterBuzz veteran, might I add. Listen, I was looking you up and researching you, and I mean, I'm not surprised because everybody at AfterBuzz has been like this so far, but you do a lot of stuff. But first and foremost, you are a host here at AfterBuzz. How did you get into the AfterBuzz family?
You know, it's a funny story because I emailed for a while, I didn't hear anything back, and I was a little heartbroken because I was like, oh my god, I want to do this, and then, I don't know, one day I just decided I'm going to try one more time, and I did, and someone emailed me back, and I was like,
see, persistence is key. I feel like that's rule number one in Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely.
You just had to make the most noise. But how did you even hear of AfterBuzz? Like, were you a fan?
You know, I had a old roommate that used to host at AfterBuzz, and he did it all the time, and he loved it, and I looked it up, and I was like, I want to do that. And so that's really how it started.
How many years have you been here now?
In LA or at AfterBuzz?
At AfterBuzz.
Goodness, it's going on, I think, almost 6 years. A long time.
So you've been here since we didn't even have a studio. We used to have a house, an in-house studio.
Yes, I did.
Dang, that's cool. What was your first show?
I did America's Top Model for a few episodes, but my real first show was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay.
And the funny thing is I showed up for our first episode. It was a pilot episode, and none of my co-hosts show up that day because, I don't know, I'm not really sure what happened. And Steven actually was my co-host, and he'd never seen the show, so we were just like talking to talk, but I was so nervous because I knew that he didn't know the show at all, and it was just not what I planned. But
I mean, you've probably come a long way since that episode of Beauty and the Beast. Do you feel like AfterBuzz has shaped you in any way as a host?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I think I've grown a lot because learning how to do live, you can't say, cut, one more take, you just roll with it, and you also learn how to go through mistakes smoothly and just have fun with it and be silly, and you also get to connect with people live, which is why I love AfterBuzz so much, because you can literally look into a lens and connect with somebody eye to eye and just make that connection, and they hit you up on social media, or even when I'm lead hosting a show, I always have my live chat going, and I try my best to talk to people as we're doing it so they feel like they're included in the show, and I think that's just a great tool to be able to have.
I think that's the best part about AfterBuzz is just the interaction and the relationships that you probably never would have made if it wasn't for something like this.
110%.
But as you said, you started at Beauty and the Beast the first season, and you've done that with many other shows here.
Yes, that was a cognitive choice. So I've done Beauty and the Beast, Arrow, Hit the Floor, all those. I started with season 1, and I notice a lot of times hosts will jump around, and that's totally cool, but I love my fans, so I want to stay consistent, and I want to be as loyal to them as they are to me, so that's why I've done that.
So, Hit the Floor is another huge after show here for you, and for just AfterBuzz in general. It's like one of the actresses from the show actually is an original OG AfterBuzz,
Kat Bayless.
right?
Kat Bayless, who is amazing, guys. If you go back, she used to do American Idol. She would sing, she would dance, she would do everything, and she went on to do Hit the Floor. So she's one of the stars of the show, and because we have such a great relationship with her, we've been able to get pretty much everybody on cast, either in studio or including the writer-director, James LaRosa, who is wonderful and has invited us to go on set. So I've gotten to do a lot of things behind the scenes, or season premiere parties, season finale parties. It's been pretty cool.
And you even made a premiere on the show.
I did. It hasn't aired yet. I'll be on episode 2, season 4. It's a really small role, but it's still cool. And
it's a role.
Well, yeah, but you know what? It just goes to show, though, I hate when people say Hollywood or anything in life, whatever career you choose, is who you know. And it is, but it's not. To an extent. Do you know what I mean? Like, I formed that relationship, so of course that helped. And when something came along his desk that fit me, I popped into his mind. But at the same time, it was definitely not one of those relationships where it's like, let me just kiss your butt so I can get something from you. Like, you truly get to know people, and it saves people time, honestly. You know, if I know I need a really reliable, great host, and I know you, why am I going to spend 10 hours for 3 days looking for a host? Like, I know you're fantastic. I'm going to hire you, and you're a great person, and you're reliable. So I think the same thing happened with him, and it's just a good lesson, I think, for anybody. Like I said, doesn't matter your walk of life.
Yeah, I think here, it just allows you to develop these relationships.
Absolutely.
And you're learning from each other, and just to be in the same room with some of these people, like, for instance, if you're a super fan of Hit the Floor and now you're in a room with the showrunner and all the actresses,
really
actors, creators, it's like an unreal experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So aside from hosting, I know you do many other things also. You do fitness, you do makeup, and I mean, I've always known that you were talented with the makeup because I feel like every time I see you, you always look like dolled up and phenomenal. But tell me a little bit about that. Like, how do you make it all happen?
I am the classic jack of all trades, master of none. Like, I grew up, like, real talk, I grew up so confused because I could do so many things, but I never felt like I was good at anything. And I would actually honestly cry about it because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, this person knows they want to be a doctor. When you're a doctor, you follow this certain path.
Right.
And this person wants to be a lawyer or whatever it is that you want to be. And I never knew what I wanted to be because there's so many things that I could sort of do. So I just kept on harnessing my craft and all these different things, but they all ended up leading towards the entertainment industry. You know what I mean? Like, makeup helps because I don't have to pay anybody to do my makeup for something, but that was an accident. I was working at a pet store, and a girlfriend of mine was like, there's an opening at this counter, and I'm like, that's cool.
And
then
you
she
just tried it out.
Yeah, well, no, she was like, it pays this much money, and I was like,
oh, that's for me.
well, okay, I'll do that. You know, and then when I came to LA, I ended up just start working in it a little bit, and I've gotten hired to do some really, really cool jobs, and it was a lot of fun. But it's just something I accidentally got good at, as weird as that sounds. And as a host, so I can do a lot of things across the board hosting, but that's because, like, for example, I wanted to have my own travel show.
Okay.
And in order to do that, I had to learn how to film things. I had to learn how to edit things professionally. I learned how to do sound. Just all these things that make me now more valuable as a host. And again, everything I'm saying applies to all genres of all 100%. Careers. Because nowadays, people want to hire somebody who can do all 10 jobs and pay that one person a good amount versus paying 10 people.
Right.
So I think it behooves anybody to pick up a skill and then do a lot of different things. So that's just how that happened. And then as far as fitness, that was also, I've just always been into it. And I used to does anybody know what P90X is? Because I used to do P90X.
I feel like I used to see those infomercials all the time.
Yeah, and it was the first thing that ever worked for me. That I was like, oh my God, like the beach is that way. And so I auditioned. The guy who directed the P90X videos had an audition for a brand new company called Daily Burn, which is actually now like one of the biggest online platform fitness things. I auditioned for him, got the part, and it was crazy because I worked with him for 4 years, and I was more starstruck by this guy who directed fitness videos than some of the people I meet on the red carpet. Because I was like, I work out with like your videos every day, and now I'm in one.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. That was actually a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of what else. I did theater, and then I got into acting, and I got back into acting because of Hit the Floor, because I also danced professionally, and this show is a scripted show about dancing. And after meeting all the actresses and Kat, who's been here, I was like, you know what? I used to act. I dance professionally. This show, like, I need to get back into this.
Your lane.
Yeah, and so I went to a 2-year school, like a professional 2-year acting school, and then from there I've just consistently taken classes and done my thing. But yeah. I don't know. I hope I answered the question.
That's the thing with Hollywood, though, is it's full circle, you know? Yeah. It's so valuable to know how to do makeup, especially when you're going to red carpets or going to auditions. Of course, you want to look your best.
Right.
And like you said, something that they ingrained in us here, especially, and even in my college experiences, they have to know how to do everything and do it yourself. And first of all, it costs money to hire all those people. If you want to get yourself out there, it's all about the small budget stuff. But, like, it's valuable to know how to film yourself, how to edit yourself, and things like that. And I think that that's something a lot of people don't realize. They just think, oh, to be a talented host, that's cool and that's great. But there's a million hosts out there. You want to be as valuable as you could possibly be.
Right. Well, and I feel like, too, we're in a generation now where it's such a DIY generation.
100%.
And when I say DIY, I mean, like, there's people out there making videos on how to do whatever. And, in fact, there's a lot of people out there, no offense, that don't belong doing these videos only because they call themselves experts and they're really not.
Yeah.
But because we have this wonderful tool that's a blessing and a curse, which is YouTube, people can do everything.
You can learn how to do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you should be well-rounded in any craft.
So you're a working host, especially right now because you're on tour
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
So you're on tour with Monster Jam.
Correct.
Which is a monster truck show.
Yes, it
which
is.
I happen to attend one in my day. But tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
that. What do you do for them?
I'm a host. I am pretty much hosting a 2-hour show along with one other person, and it's cool because I get to ride out on an ATV, so I get to be like all kick butt with my little whatever. Although I will say, on our first show, they gave me the ATV and it was automatic, or not automatic, it was manual. So
Did you know how to drive it?
you know, what happened is I got
Fake it till
myself
you
on,
make
yeah,
it.
I got on the mound and I did my little opening and I was like, hey, what's up, Charlotte? And felt really cool, put my helmet back on and I was like, and it was making noise, but it wasn't going. And my co-host is a professional ATV quad rider, so he just zoomed and he was like off stage, like gone, and I was just there in the dirt, like, and the girl who owned the bike was trying to tell me, like, it's in neutral. So anyways, that was my experience, but it's a lot of fun. I do a lot of interviewing, so it keeps me on my game with that. It is live, and it's also thousands of people, so it's a great... It's great for me too, because even though I am working, I'm still learning and practicing, and every single time it's an opportunity for me to get better. So it's a lot of fun. And the show's cool. Like, I never would have thought. I got this job, I was telling you earlier, through my dance agent, ironically, and I was like, yeah, I can do this, like monster trucks, whatever. And so I auditioned here in LA, and then they called me a month later, and they told me they wanted me to come to the callback in Florida. And I was like, oh.
So do they fly you out for that?
They flew me out in Florida. They put us up in a hotel. I was there with 13 other hosts, and we were told that we were just going to come and interview some of the drivers in the arena environment so they could see how good our interviewing skills were. And then we got to attend a show the next day to see what a real show was like, and we got to do interviews at a pit party. And a pit party is basically like a little tiny pre-show for all the kiddies to come see the trucks. And we're like, yeah, okay, I can do this. It's still really nerve-wracking. After the pit party, and I think they did this on purpose, they're like, you know what, guys? One of our hosts is not feeling well. She lost her voice, so each of you guys are going to take a section of the show. And I was like, I'm sorry, like, my callback is a real show in front of 10,000 people?
Oh, 10,000
Yeah, like, it was huge.
Oh,
and I was like, this is the scariest callback I've ever been to in my entire life. So it was cool. It was fun. We did 2 shows live like that, and it was, again, super scary, but cool because you get to put on the uniform, you get to put on the earpiece, the mic, and do everything. And I'm a big believer in dress the part, you know? So it's, like, cool to be in the part and to already say to yourself, this is mine and I own it. This is my job. Like, that's it. And I feel like that's how you have to walk into everything. Yeah, exactly.
How was it being in front of 10,000 people? What was going through your head?
Scary, but at the same time, that's the thing, is like, I've danced in front of that many people. I've been in a huge arena, but it's different because you're not talking. It's a give and take. Like, as a dancer, if you mess up and your account off, people are like, oh, look at the girl that messed up.
Like a sore
yeah,
thumb.
but if you're hosting, like, you're by yourself, so no one knows if you're saying the wrong words. But obviously, if you start stuttering, then it's a little obvious. So I don't know.
You got to play it off.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best thing that you've got out of this experience?
For a Monster Jam?
Yeah.
Gosh, everything. It's really cool to be able to, because before I was hosting, but I was also hosting and balancing survival job is what I call it, because it's not my career, it's a job that pays the bills. And it's cool to be able to have a job and own it and be like, yes, I am a host, and I have proof because I'm working and I'm doing something that's cool, and I'm putting on a show and meeting people and making their day and stuff like that. So that part's really cool. And just, yeah, doing something live. I enjoy the camera, obviously, but I like doing live things and getting a reaction from the audience and stuff.
And I think it's important, like you said, it's your job that pays the bills, but it's still a job doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes LA, I think, could be a little bit humbling, because sometimes, even though we want to have this, like, glamorous host lifestyle, there are some things that you're going to have to do that you might not necessarily want to do.
Yeah. Well, you have to pave your way. I think you have to put in your time. It doesn't, again, this is stuff that goes for any career. You do have to put in your time. One of the things that one of our owners, Keven Undergaro, always says is never be afraid to work for free. And it's true, don't, because you will learn so much if you're around the people that you want to be like, and you always want to put yourself around people that are better than you. And it sucks on your ego, because you go home and you're like, I suck. But at the end of the day, because you're around those people, you're forced to step up and get better.
And that's how you learn.
Yeah.
You don't learn by being the best in the room.
No.
You know?
I mean, it feels good, but but at the end of the day, that's not going to get you the job.
Exactly. So are you working on any other projects right now?
I am, and I don't think I'm really at liberty to like really talk about it because it's not like a for sure thing. But my passion is, so this is like, you guys may or may not care, but like I'm vegan. I love.
We care. We're here
I
listening
love animals. I love doing things for people to. I just like I believe in positive content, and I feel like a lot of today's media is convoluted with just very negative stuff to make you feel bad or scared of the world or people bullying people and just like crap. Forgive my language, but it's just crap, and I don't like it. And so I want to create something that's just more positive, that makes people feel good and encourages them to give back to their community. So I will leave it at that, but that's just where I'm at right now. And also, my other belief is that if nobody is hiring you in the job you want to do, then you need to create the position for yourself and hire yourself. And again, you're not getting paid, but somehow get that content out. So a couple years ago, like I made my first short film, which was 30 minutes, put it into some film festivals. And even though I really didn't want to ever do another film again, just because it's a lot of hard work. Hard work is good, but when you're dealing with flaky people, that's very frustrating. And somehow I got talked into writing a full feature, and so I did that, and that is my next project.
Did you ever think that you would be into something like that?
Never.
Wow.
Never. Because I always wanted to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But that's, again, that whole coming full circle and being able to do everything. So if someone is not willing to hire me and give me the platform to do what I feel is my purpose in life, then I will create my own project and put myself out there so people can see me in a way that I feel that they should see me. And I say that in a way of, like, so let's say that you are somebody who is a soccer player, right? And you're an actor, and you're like, I could play this former Olympian biopic, like I could do it, but because you're a pretty girl with the curls, people are like, oh, like she doesn't look like an athlete. Well, showcase yourself as an athlete, make them see what you would look like if you did it, and then maybe someone will be like, oh, she can do that. And so that's basically what I'm doing with my picture. Like the thing I'm doing is a little bit more athletic. I do some tumbling, I do a little bit of free running, and I do a little bit of martial arts. And so for me, I'm like, well, I think, like, I watch Arrow, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna be on Arrow one day, but I need to train. And so I got in touch with the stunt coordinator, and I asked him where I could take classes. He told me where I could go, so I started going to classes at this place, but I created a film based around that type of character, so that way later on in life, when I get the opportunity to meet this casting director and this casting director, I'm trying to interview right now the guy who is the casting director for all the DC comic shows, and at least I'll have product to be like, hey, this is me in this role, this is what I'd love to do, and he can say, wow, I see you doing it, so I know you're capable. He doesn't have to use his imagination because he knows I can do it, and maybe I'll be on his mind one day, and if not, I still accomplished something that made me better at the end of the day.
That is phenomenal advice. Like, I feel like that's valuable for me. It's motivational for me. I'm sure anybody who's wondering how to be a host, like, that's Host 101 right there. You just gotta kick ass and do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really happy that we had this time to chat.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a host, but I talk a lot.
This show is about you. You can talk however much you want.
Oh, thank you.
Again, I'm Olivia Gabaree. You guys can hit me up at @thereal_O_G. And Alikona, where can everybody find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at yours truly Alikona. That's URS. Alikona, truly, in the between, And then you can find me on Instagram, and I actually spell it out, yours_truly_Alikona, because Instagram does not have a limitation on how many characters you use. So, Anyway.
All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.